Welcome to Oilers Nation Every Day with your hosts, Tyler and Liam.
Maybe Darnell Nurse should be a winger. Let's get into it with the lead. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just one of those things where, like, eventually you're just going to get there. You're just going to realize that it's the only way out. Last night was my breaking point, with him specifically. Welcome into Oilers Nation Every Day. We are live from the Sports Closet studio. Check them out online, sportscloset.ca. We're a presentation of Bet365. Download the app today. Use the promo code NATION, whatever the moment. It's never ordinary at Bet365. I don't know.
It's tough.
I don't know.
I'm sorry, I was quoting Tristan Jarry for the third game in a row.
Third game in a row where Tristan Jarry says that in his postgame?
It's tough.
It's tough.
It's tough.
It's tough to stop a wrist shot from the fucking blue line in the third period?
What's he supposed to do? It's tough out there. It's the NHL.
I liked his
He's just an NHL goalie.
I like when they asked him about getting pulled, and his thing was, yeah, maybe I could have seen around one of those screens a little bit better. You think the issue was that there were screens in front of you? That was the problem, eh? If only there was a podcast who said, you know what, I think you're being too hard on Stuart Skinner, guys.
Yeah. That's tough. I mean, stop one more than the other.
Puck. Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, the Oilers probably can't come out on the wrong side of a 6-5 game too often.
Well, sure.
Like
you say that, but
just God damn it, man! What a pain in the ass this team is being right now. It's just stupid. Let's be honest. Like, it's just stupid. Like, we left this team in a spot where one of the greatest players to ever play for them called out everybody.
Yep.
Including Tristan Jarry. And I guess he did just say the goaltending, so it's both of them, I guess, and his friend Cal. And now you come in, what a start. I don't want to say you gift it back to them. I think there was always going to be a pushback from the Ducks.
I'll say that.
Okay, sure. You gift it back to them. Game becomes a game. You have two separate 2-goal leads. Your offense, I thought all 12 forwards were pretty good. 11 and a half was whatever. Mm-hmm. Yammer got hurt, obviously. And all of a sudden, like, you're just completely let down because this goalie you got, and Darnell Nurse, of course, too, who was just awful.
Horrendous.
Just completely let you down. And now all of a sudden you walk away from that game with nothing. And unfortunately, with Jarry, it's just been bad for a while. Since he came back, he's been, I don't know what happened to him over that injury, but my goodness.
I almost wish he was still hurt. That's a bad thing to say. That's a bad thing to say. I take it back. Wipe that from the record, please. Objection. Self-objection. Overruled.
If your audio's bad, just refresh. I think it's you, not us.
Yeah, I think it is you. Someone said, at least Jarry always does media. Yep, he loves...
To be honest, I'd rather he didn't.
Yeah, he loves sitting there and telling you how it's not his fault.
And also, literally sitting.
Yeah.
Like, you got to stand up, man. Like, show a bit of empowerment here. Like, stand above these reporters. Like, Skinner would stand there and take it. You know what I mean?
So, someone just said this in the chat. And we're going to get into... Oh, yeah. See, Caleb, restart works. My bad. Yeah, buddy.
Why is Kyle? I don't blame Jarry at all. God damn it, man.
That's the one I said last
But
time.
you were the guy who always blamed Skinner.
Jack Campbell's the best goalie in his eyes, though, to be fair.
Oh, yeah. I forgot he has that fucking take. And I'll leave it at that. Moneypuck.com. There is a team in the NHL who has 64 points on the year, who has a 70% chance of making the playoffs in the NHL, okay?
Okay.
So 64 points, 70% chance. There is a team in the NHL who has 63 points and has a 6% chance of making the playoffs in the NHL.
So is 63 like Washington or something like that?
Toronto.
Oh, nice.
And 64 is Edmonton. There's 1 point separating them and 64 percentage points separating their playoff chances. That's crazy. Dilly says Jarry needs blame. He absolutely does. Brian, not panicking on Jarry. First is fixed team defense. Nurse, bottom 6 scoring overall contribution.
Guys, they allowed 6 high danger chances yesterday, and they allowed 6 goals against.
Make a save.
What are you talking about? It was awful. We cannot sugarcoat how bad it was. Tristan Jarry called out this team against the Minnesota Wild and has shit his pants ever since.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I when he came, I was on board. And I am not giving up on Tristan Jarry. Because we can't. We have 3 years left.
I was barely on board, and I am remaining off board. I have jumped off board. I'm out.
Come on. Like, take it game by game. I don't care about the whole picture of it. Last night alone, Tristan Jarry sucked.
Yep.
Chris Knobloch pulled him with 13 minutes left, and we have some people in here being like, well, you can't blame him. What do you mean? How can you not blame him? Was Darnell Nurse to blame too? Of course. There was other culprits as well. But Tristan Jarry sucked.
Can I give you Chris Knobloch's quote from last night?
Please. I can't imagine this is a long one.
You need better goaltending. That's the quote.
Seb says it well there. And I think they might have said this on the broadcast too. 40 goals against. I don't think it's 5 games. I think it's 8 games. 40 goals against in 5 games is insane.
That would be bordering.
I'm pretty sure in their last 8 games.
That would be 8 goals a game.
Yeah.
Hasn't given up 8 goals a game.
They've allowed 40 goals in their last 8 games. And now obviously that's Ingram too on that.
5 goals, 4 goals, 5 goals, 4 goals. Snip, snap, snip, snap, snip, snap. It's terrible.
It's awful. And the defense did not play well. But it gets to a point where it's like, you sometimes just have to recover from that as well. And both ways, it was sucked. Also, defense, they allowed 6 high danger chances.
Can I give you something, though? Both of these statements, everybody, can be true. Jarry was horrible. The defense was horrible. Both are true. If just Jarry was horrible and the defense wasn't horrible, that game probably goes to overtime.
Yes.
If just the defense wasn't horrible and Jarry wasn't horrible, they probably win that game 5-2 or 5-3. Average goaltending, you win. He gave up minus 2.33 goals above expected. That tells you his 5 should have been a 3.67-ish. He should have given up 3 goals in that hockey game. Yeah. And he did not. Average goaltending, you win that hockey game and probably cover the goddamn puck line.
I just think when the Oilers' offense is going in the way that it was, they scored 5 goals, 5 separate goal scorers, which is really good to see as well. You have to win these games, and you need your goaltending to give you enough. Mm-hmm. And that's when I said before, I should have elaborated a bit more of like, the Oilers can't be losing 6-5 hockey games because your offense is too good. Like, you need to find a way to recover and prevent them from scoring at least 5. Mm-hmm. And I just don't like who on God's green earth is Ian Moore? Who is that? I actually
have just been recalled.
Is he? I have no idea who that is. I thought it was John Moore, the former Columbus Blue Jacket.
I kept thinking of Ian White, the old Leafs defenseman.
There you go. Exactly. And it's just like, damn it. You score 13 seconds into a hockey game, and you have all the momentum. You have a great game from Savoie. Again, I thought all the forwards played pretty well yesterday. Mm-hmm. The offense was buzzing. And then all of a sudden you lose a game 6-5 and you come away with nothing. Like in a divisional matchup, the game you return again after Draisaitl has his moments, Knobloch labels this as the most important road trip of the season so far. Mm-hmm. And you shit your pants like that because you can't get a save and your $9.25 million defenseman plays like it's his first game in Pee Wee.
Let's get into our game recap, okay. Liam. Post games always brought to you by Derek Dodge. It's the beginning of a new chapter for Derek Dodge. They're under new ownership, bringing a fresh approach, new energy, and a renewed focus on customer experience. And right now, they have an unbeatable deal. Look at that. Buy now, go to Vegas. You leave the lot with a new vehicle, and flights and accommodations for a trip for 2 to Vegas are on them. That is tough to beat. Derek Dodge. Visit them, 6211 104th Street Northwest, or online at derekdodge.com. Let's talk about that a little bit. If this was a just society, if this team was being ran on merit and not reputation, Darnell Nurse would enjoy tonight's hockey game in Los Angeles with a bag of popcorn in his hands.
If they had another defenseman, he might be doing that too.
Well, there's problemo numero dos.
Yeah.
A little bit of Spanish flair for you here on a Thursday. Matthias Janmark got hurt last night, and they don't have enough cap space to call anyone up.
Don't they have like 10 grand? What did you?
$9,800.
Yeah.
Not enough. So
they got to reduce his minutes big time. How much did he even play yesterday?
Well, he was clearly on the ice protecting the tie game with a minute and a half left.
It honestly leaves you speechless.
His play on that last goal was like legitimately stunning to watch.
21-24 last night. I should get the 5-on-5 numbers. That's probably more of a fair evaluation.
I love Knobloch being like, yeah, we're definitely going to have to watch Connor McDavid's minutes. He plays 22 minutes last night.
Oh, my goodness. Darnell Nurse led all Oilers in 5-on-5 minutes with 17:48.
Ooh.
He was on the ice for four 5-on-5 goals against.
Yeah, baby. It's all fine.
If we don't laugh, we will seriously cry.
Oh, yeah.
This is why I asked the question about Knobloch the other day to Peñota. I know where the others are in the standings before that. I get it. I don't care. It's not even about the points. It's about how are they playing, and they have given us nothing all season. If they are currently on a 4-game losing streak, and if they lose tonight, they will be on a 5-game losing streak.
You borderline don't deserve to make the playoffs if you lose 5 straight.
And I
games.
think they will still make the playoffs. At the end of the day, that record was 14-8-1 or whatever they had to be. They were going to lose games.
They now have to be 14-8-1 just to get to 93 points, which should get you in, but maybe wouldn't.
It's bad. Honestly, it's pathetic.
Yeah, Darnell Nurse last night was -3, and he was on the ice for a goal 4.
Yeah, he had a point last night.
Good point. I think pathetic is a perfect way to describe how he played last night. And it is game. What was last night? Last
59.
night was game 775 in his NHL career.
Felt like it was his 59th game too.
Yeah.
700 and what?
75. Would you like me to include playoffs? Including playoffs, Darnell Nurse
920
has played 869 games in his NHL career.
Well done, Darryl.
This has to stop at some point.
You've conned us all.
He's acquired generational wealth to be an NHL defenseman, and he can't do it. Last night was so bad. And like Muehlek had a comment earlier, and again, voice of reason. Maybe I should be there too. I get it. And I tweeted last night the officiating was just fucking putrid.
It was, and it was not the reason why the Oilers lost by any means. It did not assist them.
No, it was really bad, but I tweeted yesterday, these guys don't deserve that excuse. I'm not going to sit here and talk about 2 missed high sticks, the missed tripping call. On the Killorn power play goal, there was a pick that Anaheim set that allowed Anaheim to have the 2-on-1 that went uncalled. Like, officiating was bad. But it's absolutely insane that you can point at last night's hockey game at 2 hockey players. Because I agree with Muehlek that as a whole, that hockey game was not horrible. There was a lot of things to actually really like from that hockey game as a whole. The penalty kill went 4 for 5. I thought it was much better. And to Jarry's credit, he made some big saves on the PK. The power play went 1 for 2. They did their job. Matt Savoie had 3 points. Full credit to him. You got scoring from 5 different goal scorers in that hockey game. You came out of the gates early. You were up 2-0. Like, lots to like. They lost that hockey game because of 2 players who make a combined $15 million. Those 2 players make more than 10% of your cap. They make roughly 15% of your cap. And last night, they are the reason why you lost that hockey game. Inexcusable, cannot happen. And it's not just them to point the fingers at. Let's point the finger at Stan Bowman. Because, I mean, I clocked it from Jump Street. I said, this is a lateral move. If it would have been Skinner for Jarry and Jarry was $2 million retained and it's like, okay, there's some money here. This all kind of makes sense. Sure. You gave up assets and took on an albatross contract to do a lateral move. And I said in the moment, it could work. A change of scenery for Jarry, maybe wake up the group in front of them and kind of give them a bit of a boost of like, all right, we got a new goalie now. Like, we got to play good. I said there were ways where this deal could have worked, but I said it from Jump Street. It was an unnecessary risk to take. And right now we are seeing I said it was like doubling down on a 12, I think, at a blackjack table was my line. It's like, ooh, that's kind of dumb. But, you know, maybe the dealer's got a 10 and you're like, you've had a couple pops in you and you think, you know what, screw it. I'm going to go full J down and I'm doubling down on a 12. That is legitimately something he does, by the way.
Yes, we've witnessed it.
If it works, you look like a genius. If it doesn't, you look dumb because you went against the book. That is what this is looking like right now. Stan Bowman doubled down on a 12, and it was a face guard, and now he's sitting there going, ugh, whoops.
I'd love to know what happened to Jarry in the sense of, like, because when we got him, he was fine. Like, I thought he played well in those handful of games. Yeah. He got injured. Obviously, how long was that? Was it just over a month, right? 6 weeks, 5-6 weeks, whatever. And then he's come back, and he's not even looked close to the same. And I think last night, you're right. To start the game, I thought he was perfect. I thought he was good. I thought he had a solid start to the game, and then all of a sudden, that first goal goes in. It just seems to kind of fall apart for him. And I did a bit of research today with a whiteboard.
Okay, I'm very excited for this research project because you haven't explained it to me.
Okay, so this is the whiteboard. So these are all the starts Tristan Jarry has had since he returned from his injury, which was against Nashville. I think it was like January 13th, something like that. So this is only starts. So this does not include the Washington game, which I think he came in relief, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he did, because Ingram got pulled. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games. The Oilers have won twice. There was obviously the shutout against Vancouver, and then the prime game, the Beckett-Seneca game, I like to call it, actually, where they won that game as well against the Ducks. So this column is the deserve to win meter from Money Puck, which is basically a expected goals ratio, right?
It's basically what percentage of the expected goals did you get? You apply it to a percentage, and it's like, all right, if you play that exact game with the exact same scoring chances, you win that game this percent of the time.
Okay. Nashville. The Oilers had a 60% chance on the deserve to win meter. 60% of it deserve to win. Why would you say
60% on the deserve to win meter. That's
They
fair.
lost in overtime. Whatever, you got a point. I think that one was a second of a back-to-back, if I'm not mistaken. Vancouver, they won 68%. New Jersey, they lost 72%. I think that was a 2-1 game. Pittsburgh, they got absolutely smoked, it seemed like. They actually had a 52% chance to win that game, according to Money Puck. Anaheim, somehow 18% won the game. Minnesota, the game Tristan Jarry called out the Oilers, 43% chance of winning. Against Calgary right before the break, 55% chance of winning, they lost. Last night was a 60% chance to win, and they lost. And I know these are just numbers and expected goals, and the puck goes in the net, and that's what actually matters. But the point is, the Oilers are doing a lot in front of Tristan Jarry to win these hockey games, and he's just not winning them.
Correct.
There you go, my closing case.
Rami says, Tyler's not being truthful. He brought all the stats to support why Jarry is a superior goalie, including he's top 5 in accepted save percentage and all that other stuff. Listen, I definitely said there's a path to this trade working, but you can go back, watch the 8 a.m. reaction episode we did. I mean, Aaron, you would have been there. Did I like the trade at first?
Not at all in the slightest. None of us did. We were all shell-shook. Now, it's always, when the move is made, Tyler, that's your job to bring some positivity. You can't just be pessimistic from Jump Street. But now, I mean, we've seen a solid sample size here.
I thought it was going to be better. I think right off the bat, I wasn't like that.
And early on, it was very encouraging, and I did. I mean, if you want me to call myself out a little bit, I did change my tune a little bit coming out of... I did change my tune a little bit coming out of those first few games.
Because he was playing well.
Because he played well.
And the goal, I think even the stats on that side were a bit unfortunate too, because obviously it was just a couple of late goals in that game, which I think flipped his numbers a bit more negatively than they deserve to be. And then all of a sudden he's just come back from his injury and it's been not even close to the right standard. And it's just bad. It's just really, really bad. And they obviously have to run a little bit with Ingram here. There's no way he doesn't play tonight. Either way, he was playing tonight. But you have to play him against San Jose as well. I don't know. He's almost unplayable in a way.
That's a damning thing to be saying at this point in the experiment.
Do you think it's wrong to say?
No, and I'm going back through those first couple of games, And like with the context of his struggles now in our view, I'm looking at some of these goals against in the Toronto game, his debut, and I'm going like, oh man, if that is...
It wasn't the first one a bit of a softie, or was it the second one?
They kind of all were. All of them have a bad rebound incorporated in there in some way, except for the last one. That game against Pittsburgh that they won 6-4. First one, he kicked out an absolutely brutal rebound, and it got hammered home. The second one here, I'm watching it live, down low, cross on a power play, up top, shot from the point right through his legs. Like, I don't know, man. You can go back, and people can go back themselves through Jarry's game logs and watch all these goals against themselves, but like, shot from the point, bad rebound, in. Those are the 3 goals, and then he gave up the late one against Pittsburgh, so we won't even blame him on that. Yeah. So, like, legitimately, 6 of the first 8 goals that he gave up as an Edmonton Oiler were either rebounds or shots from the point.
But one thing I remember about those games, too, is that he was making big saves in those games as well.
Sure.
Like the Toronto game, couple of breakaways. Pittsburgh, it felt like he was getting those saves as well. It's just not coming right now. And you got to sit him out. He just had a 3-week break, obviously, but you gotta roll with Ingram here for the next little bit.
It's Connor Ingram's crease till it's not, man. Yeah, and I know that's like a whatever thing to say, but like that's the guy, Connor Ingram, and that again ties into what pisses me off about the trade is that you went out and got Connor Ingram. I gotta stop watching these Jarry goals. I'm gonna have a fucking aneurysm. You went out and got Connor Ingram, and you never even took a chance. Because, like, that was the thing with Ingram. It was, like, off the scrap heap, let him get up to speed, and you know what? You might have just found your guy for future considerations. Holy shit. Mm-hmm. You didn't even give him a chance before you made this panic trade for Tristan Jarry. And it's not like Tristan Jarry wouldn't have been available a month later. Pittsburgh would have traded you Tristan Jarry right now. They're clearly still selling off, trying to get rid of money. Or selling off assets.
Yeah, you're probably right there.
It felt so pointless at the time to do it then, especially because Skinner was coming off a couple of good games.
He was on a hot streak. He definitely was. What I'll say to that, too, is the team was playing really well in front of him. It just doesn't seem to be a lot of trust there right now between, I think, Jarry and the team in front of him. And obviously there's a lack of, they don't know each other.
Yeah.
It's not been that long there to build
but
that
is he
relationship.
acclimating himself to his teammates well when he comes out there and talks about how, the rebounds I kick out are all ending up in the back of the net. And, maybe I could try to see around the screens in front of me.
Well, even the
tough.
one yesterday, it's tough out there.
It's tough.
The Leo Carlson goal, was it Nurse and Bouchard, I think, whoever it was, should they have covered him up a little bit better? Of course. But also, too, if you watch it, like, Jarry, like, weirdly overcommits out of his net. And, like, that rebound is, like, kind of forced into that spot. I just say, here you go. Like, look how far, it seems like he's really far out there to me. Like, Terrible. He doesn't need to be in that position.
And he kicks it instead of just stopping it.
Yeah, it wasn't a very hard shot. And then it gets out there. And it's just like, I understand your teammates. Like, the line, what was it, Bouchard and I think that might be McDavid, to be honest. Whoever it is, it doesn't matter. They need to obviously be ready for that, but also, why is that puck ended up there?
So Hutz talks to me about this a lot. Like, he helps me break down these goals, and even ones where maybe you sit there and go like, ooh, like people are saying, that's on the D, whatever. That puck should never be kicked there. Yeah. And one thing Hutz talks to me a lot about is moving outside of your post. Like on that Nick Suzuki goal to tie the game up against Czechia in the Olympics, nobody was criticizing Lucas Dostal because it was like, oh, what a great deflection, right? It went from an outside hip to right through the goalie's legs. But Hutz says you go watch that, and an NHL goalie, an NHL coaching staff, NHL players watch that and go, what the hell are you doing? Because why are you sprawling out to potentially stop a puck that's going to go wide? There's no reason to protect the outside of the net.
You kind of tuck up to the post a bit more, I guess, on that scenario.
Because the puck can't go in if it's going wide of the net.
Yeah,
Don't protect that.
It's not a shot on goal.
Protect your team. Protect between your posts. And you watch that goal there for Jarry. He's out of control.
Yeah.
And I mean that in like a very technical way, but like, why is he sliding so far out like that? They can't score if it gets that far. be disciplined almost, and like it's lazy to an extent, right? To slide that far out and just be like, I think he's gonna hit me and I'm gonna hold on to it. Okay, I'm gonna just kick out this rebound instead of doing. It was a lazy play by Jarry, and you can say it's on the D, whatever. They also are not expecting their goalie to just kick a rebound into the slot. That's like a conscious reflex that Jarry would make. I know that's a bit of like an oxymoron, but it is.
I think too, like, it's also a lack of confidence play. He's already allowed a couple goals in that moment, but I just think in that time, like, what was that, minute 13 into the period? Like, your team's just gone up by 2 goals at the end. They've regained that lead. Like, they need you to relax and just like be in the moment and play. 'Cause he's capable, but for whatever reason right now, he's just lacking a lot.
Well, only one thing could put a smile on my face right now, and it's knowing that our friend Jason Demers is here. Our guest line is brought to you by Oodle Noodle. You can win your way into the nation vacation simply by downloading the Oodle Noodle app. OodleNoodle.ca. Find a location near you. You can enter without purchase just by walking into a store. You purchase delicious noodles, you get a second entry as well. OodleNoodle.ca. Bippity boppity boopity, back from Italia. Jason Demers was out in Milan. Now he's back. How you doing, JD? Oh, okay.
Ciao.
Ciao.
What's going on, boys?
I mean, 24 hours after the Oilers resume their season, we're in full-on panic mode. The defense sucks. The goaltending sucks. Usual.
Yeah, standard. I watched that game a little bit last night. Oof. Tough to come back, after losing 3 before the break, and then now you're on a 4-game losing streak. But especially with Connor playing a good game too. I thought offensively, I thought they had their chances. They led the offensive category handedly last night. But again, it's like the chances they give up are so heavy. And unfortunately, like, you need a Vasilevsky-esque if you're going to play that way, I think. And it's not a discredit or a discount to the goaltending that's been there. They haven't played great. But, when you're getting slot shots and rebounds and backdoor plays, and it's just the way Edmonton plays, it's fine. But if you're going to do that, if I'm Stan Bowman and you're staring at this and you're like, well, if we're not going to change the way we play, we either got to do that and play more defensive, or we got to go out and get a Binnington or a Damian Clara or one of these stud goaltenders, and or Vasilevsky. I mean, listen, it's tough. It's frustrating. I feel like, but I feel like Edmonton does this all the time to us, and we've like gotten used to it. But I just wonder when it's going to be too much, and they'll get to the playoffs and tighten it up defensively, and then they're going to go on a run. But yeah, Jarry, I mean, unfortunately, he has not looked good at all. So
we were just maybe around when we were doing it. We were talking about that third goal against yesterday, right? It just seems like Jarry isn't playing with much structure at all. And then if he is to kick out that rebound, like we just kind of talked about there, is that something a defenseman should be expecting, or is that kind of like, why did that puck even end up where it went?
Yeah, can we play it again, Aaron?
Yeah, I can take you through it because there's a couple of them that I watched. Like, number one on the entry, you're back 4 guys, and I think it goes through not only Connor's legs, but also Bush's legs. Like, you got to have that. Somebody's got to have that because, even this cross ice team, I think Ekholm too is so far back. I watched the clip like 10 seconds before. He's like below the circles. And I'm like, he should be all the way up intercepting that pass. That should never get across to Trouba. Obviously, this kick out isn't great, and he's over sliding. But the whole sequence is like, you have numbers back, but, they kind of always – it's tough. It's like they choose kind of just to be a little bit, lax defensively, and they hope it's like give a chance, get a chance. And, like I said, we've talked about it before, where I was like, they have numbers back, but it's like, you're back, but are you defending? If you know what I mean? Like, it's – you can be in place. Like, I can be in front of the net with my stick up, but I'm not doing anything. So it's like, are you defending, or are you just kind of appearing to defend? I think that you can't give up a rebound like that in the middle of the slot. And I was kind of looking at some underlying numbers, and his no rebound percentage wasn't great. So like a lot of shots that he's taking on, he's giving up rebounds more times that he's not. And he's kind of the play's dying. So to me, that's kind of not great for a team that does give up big scoring chances. And I mean, it's kind of one of those things, like, I don't want to say, do we look at Knobloch, but do we look at the structure at one point and say, like, there needs to be accountability on the defensive side of the puck? Or is it just purely, the question is it just purely defense and personnel? But, I think that seeing what those top guys want to play and how they want to play offensively, and you can't stifle them, I think you're going to have to live with that. So it goes to, like, it's just a lot. Like, it's like, what comes first? Like, do you go pure defensive, but is that going to piss off Connor and Leon? And you don't want to do that because you're on the clock with Connor. Or do you want to, completely say, screw it, let's go get another goalie. This one didn't work. Let's go get more D-men. But again, you got contracts that are kind of tied up on the back end that kind of hamper you. So they're in this weird place where, like, do I think they have what it takes to win a Stanley Cup? I don't know. They've proven me wrong the last 2 years. And that's because when you have Connor and Leon, I'm never going to count them out, just because if anybody has two eyes and watched the Olympics or watched Connor the last 2 years, like, he'll get you there. Do they have enough to win the big one at the end? I don't think so. So you're running out of time with the trade deadline looming. So you got to do something. You got to take a shot. Or do you just stand pat and you hope for next season? But I do think they'll make it in. The only interesting thing is, like, I was looking, they have 23 games left, and 11 of the 23 are against the Pacific. So you win those games, you're in, and it's like a lot of Sharks, Vegas, but you don't have a ton of divisional games. It's a lot of, like, out of conference. So, like, they're going to make it in. It's just going to be, how are they going to get in? Who are they going to face? Will they have a good path? And can you win the big one? Because at this point, it doesn't really matter with Connor and Leon. And sorry if I'm going long-winded. It doesn't really matter if you make it in, because you will make it in with those guys. But do you have enough to win? And I think that should be the mindset, because the last 2 years they've made it to the finals and they've lost. Lost by a small margin. Like, it's kind of almost lucky. It goes one way or the other in the first one. And then last year, I just think Florida was just way better than everybody else. But yeah, I think goaltending in D has been something every time I've been on for the past year and a half, that's something we've always talked. They went and addressed it, but I don't think it was the right thing to do. Is giving up Skinner for Jarry. It's just a little bit interesting to me, that trade. And then now we're kind of seeing it. And not only has he kind of been a little bit streaky since he's been there, he's got some injury trouble. So I think he has it in him. I just don't know what the issue is. It's tough, man. It's hard to put a finger on it.
I'm curious for your take on this next part, because what we've seen over the last few months is some of these guys have retired their post-game cliches, and we are getting a lot of honesty. You had Jarry after which game was it? Minnesota. When he gave up 5 and basically he came out and was like, yeah, well, we're going to give up a lot of chances. Like, that, if that's how we're going to play, those goals are going in. And even last night, he kind of shrugged and was like, well, I had a lot of traffic in front of me. And then you had Draisaitl coming out and, like, listen, there are not very many players in the NHL who can sit there in a post game and say, from the coaching staff on down, we need to be better. But, like, Draisaitl calls him out. You have Knobloch last night saying our goaltending wasn't good enough. Like, is the honesty that we're seeing, and I think it can go both ways, is it a sign of a team that is close and goes, hey, we're professionals, we can be honest with each other? Or is it a sign that this team's about to reach its breaking point where everyone's starting to point fingers?
I'm a firm believer is you keep everything in the locker room, especially comments like that. Like, if you my whole thing is, like, if you have the gall to kind of go out and call somebody out in the media, you better sure as shit be able to go right to his face and carve him, and even more so carve him in the dressing room. If you can't do that, then you shouldn't be saying anything in the media. So hopefully they're having those honest conversations, and you want to think they are. And it's something that's kind of, Knobloch kind of even last year would come out and he'd call out guys here and there in the media, and he's done it more and more. I don't know. I saw when I was over in Milan, I saw that they bring back Paul Coffey. So that's also a sign of, like, there's some dissension maybe, because Paul Coffey seemed to kind of be the guy that evened everything out and smoothed things out between the players. So is there a little bit of, like, push-pull? Leon calling out coaching staff down. I'm sure the coaching staff can do a way better job. I think they can either, once again, like you got to put the structure in place. Now, no one's really talked about the personnel that they're bringing in. I don't think some of the signings they did have worked out. I told you last year when we were sitting at the finals, the Trent Frederick thing, which I think he's an effective player when he's playing, but I said that's going to kind of hurt him, I think, and it has. And then they bring in Mangiapane, and it hasn't really quite worked out for them, and they're maybe trying to move on from him and clear up some cap space. So it's like, I think it needs to be looked at. And again, these players are all great players. They're all NHL players. But again, the fit matters. You can't just go out and give guys contracts if you want to be a Stanley Cup champion team. And they've kind of found ways to bring in guys the last couple of years. And I don't know if they've just missed the mark, and maybe Stan's kind of, I don't know, he just hasn't picked properly because – they are missing a lot of character this year in terms of veteran leadership. We look at Corey Perry, and that's a big guy that's missing on that team, that could have those honest conversations that aren't only in the media, but in person. So you need those guys. And I think it's, could be a learning experience for Connor and Leon to, I know they're very good at pulling the ship, and they're very honest people, and they're honest, they give 110%. And they expect everybody to do the same. So hopefully they're having those conversations internally. And, also you're missing Calvin Pickard. He's gone. You're missing Mr. Happy-Go-Lucky's in the minors, who kind of seem to, rally this team. So there's just it's kind of messy right now. And it kind of feels like last year earlier in the season when they rattled off that 16-game winning streak. But I don't know. I think the deadline, I think they can't hold pat. I think they got to do something. They got to take a swing, empty the coffers, maybe retain some money to give up some contracts, but they got to just kind of go all in because, like, I think I talked to you guys earlier in the year, and I was like, the clock's ticking on Connor right now, and losing that gold medal I think doesn't help either. So
and then to come back to a game like that probably wasn't ideal.
Yeah, no,
he played great. He played fantastic in that game.
Yeah, he's great.
Like, for him to play as much as he played in Team Canada and come back, I know obviously that play on that goal you guys scored, he just drifts too far into the crease. He should kind of stay out a little bit, but that's Connor. He gives up one, but he's going to get three. So it's like it's really for him to come back from Milan. I did not expect him to play that well after dumping that much emotional energy. But I mean, he is a fucking robot. So.
I know it's not really your thing, but throw your GM cap on for us for a second here. Like, what's the style of player they need? Do they need to add another top six winger? Do they need to add a defensively responsible third line center? If you're looking at adding a blue line, which that's kind of the talk right now that they are going to look that way, is it a puck mover? Is it someone more rugged like a Ristolainen? And like, where do you think they should look?
I mean, I've been high on wrist. I've been low on Ristolainen my whole career until this past year. I thought he's kind of figured it out a little bit later in his career, and I think he could help. Listen, the talk has consistently been back end for years on this team. I think they still need to find a way to address it. Whether it's you need a bottom six, not a bottom six, but a bottom pairing guy, and I would still do with another top end player if there's one available. I mean, you're looking around the league though, and there's a lot of teams that are in it right now. So and I think there's a lot of teams, GMs that are a little bit, I don't want to say bad, but they're a little bit, they think that, hey, let's just make the playoffs. It'll, help keep my job. So they're all being buyers, but there's not really anybody selling, other than potentially a Philly who's out of it now. That they had a big loss last night. That killed them, I think, against – and I thought they were dead in the water a while back. So maybe Ristolainen is a guy that you go after on the right side to complement Bush because you got Nursey and you got Ekholm, and those guys are – Nursey's on that contract that can you retain if you wanted to and move him? I think he started off the year good. I think he struggled a little bit recently and needs to find his game and get back to, how he was during those cup runs. So, but, and then you look at Wallman signed to a big deal, and, that deal that he signed to, he needs to be a lot better. and healthy or not healthy. So it's just kind of one of those things. Like you need to figure out who you would slot in. I'm always big on a right-hander. I think somebody coming in, you look at Tyler Myers is available right now too. I think he would be a good addition. I know people don't like him, but I always thought you can't, a guy with that much range, because I don't think you can go for like a youth guy that's going to grow with you. I think they got to take a shot here and then see where the dust settles in a year or two. If it doesn't work, then you can rebuild, but you got to kind of just go for it. But I think it's a consensus is decor every single year. Maybe there's even a world in which you look at St. Louis and you look at you're trying to get a goalie. We've been talking about Binnington. We've been talking about there's Parayko. Parayko's easy to get him on the move, figure out to money out, money in, dump a ton of stuff. I would like a Parayko as well. But I mean, man, it's so tough this year because of the shortened season. Not the shortened season, but this schedule now, the Olympics, and then there's so many teams that are kind of think they're in it that it's like you're gonna see a flurry of shit like 2 days before the trade deadline.
Last one from me. I wanted to ask you about Nurse. He finished -3 yesterday, but led all defensemen in minutes, led the whole team in 5-on-5 minutes. But when you watch him play, it seems like not a lot of positive is happening when he's out there. He's not providing a lot of offense either. What do you see? It's just unnecessary play. Like they surely have to reduce his minutes a little bit and hope that reduction can limit the mistakes that are happening.
I mean, listen, who do you play instead of him?
I think they need to split up Bouchard and Ekholm because they're the only two guys going right now. And as much as it's nice to have a top pairing, like, do you maybe need to sit there and go, fuck, at least we'll have a guy we can trust on each of our top two pairings if we split them up? Yeah,
but it's proven. We've seen that, like, if you're going to put Bush and Nursey together, it hasn't really worked. Am I glitching it?
No, I think we got you.
All right, we're back. No, I think Bush and Nursey to kind of struggled a bit. You put Ekholm and Wallman again. You look at this back end, and Spencer Stastny has been good since he's been there with Emberson, but I think you can improve on that for sure. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't see this as a top 6 to get you to the finals. I don't want to, it's always tough because I hate leaning, I'm always on the player side and I think they can pull this out, but it's a lot of money, and it's a lot of money given to a lot of players in that back end, and those guys got to figure it out, because I don't know if as a GM you could move some of these contracts. So they're going to have to figure it out quickly. Nurse is leading everybody 5-on-5. I think Ekholm is as good of a soldier he's been in Warrior. I think he's slowed down. I think it's been tough. So Nurse needs to pick up those minutes. And also, like I said, Jake Wallman. I'd like to see Jake Wallman on that contract be the guy that's playing with Bush. As much as people, it's a guy that can skate. Bush can skate too. They both are offensively minded. I think it would make them both play more responsible defensively and learn to. And it's one of those things, like, you might have to put those guys together, and then you try to piece Ekholm and Nursey together as like this rugged shutdown. Don't worry, you don't have to go out and score any goals. Just make sure nothing happens. But you kind of just load up Wallman and Bush. But, I don't know if those guys can mesh well enough together. And I'm sure people in the chat are like, hell no, do not put those guys together. But you never know. Sometimes when you put those guys, guys that can kind of both skate and play offensive, sometimes it forces them to be a little bit more defensive, especially if you got Paul Coffey pulling them in, being like, hey guys, like, this isn't like fucking both you going on the rush. This is like, you could try to score goals, but you're there to move the puck, get it up to Connor and Leon, jump up in the rush, but it could provide a potent offensive attack for them.
I guess last one for you. You were just out in Italy for a couple of weeks for the games. Favorite thing you ate while you were there? Like, what's a memory you're going to take away from the hockey rink from Italy?
I mean, I tried to gain weight because they said you can't gain weight, and I ate about a goddamn croissant every single day, but 4 of them. The thing is we covered 27 games. So we were at the rink 12 hours a day, the whole tournament. So it was like we ate at the rink a lot of the time, and we had like a buffet. So we didn't really get all this Italian food, but we ate at this amazing spot, Il Salumeo di Monte Napoleone, and it was amazing in Milan. It's been there forever, and I mean, it just was the most gluttonous shit you've ever seen in your life. Just Chianti, Barolo, Barbaresco, with having steak Florentine, even though it was in Milan, and burrata, and the prosciuttos, and the brezzolas. And I just was a big fat piece of shit out there.
Fuck yeah.
And I enjoyed every bit of it.
Jay in the YouTube chat wants to know if you had any darts with Elliot Friedman while you were there. Did you sneak in a little sneaky trip dart with Friedge?
I didn't have a dart with him. I'm a cigar guy, but I do love a Marlboro Red, no filter. When I'm, back in the day when I was drunk, I'd love to suck down a Marlboro Red every now and then. But I did link up with them for some drinks, like one of the first nights. That little group of three, Bieksa, Friedman, and it was fun. Just had some Negronis and chopped it up and tried to get all this inside shit from Elliot. He wasn't breaking, and tried to ask him, like, how is it with, the other insiders, and is it like kind of a rivalry? And, he was like, it's a little bit of a rivalry. And I was like, I kind of love that shit. I was like, I like that there's like inner workings. They all kind of secretly hate each other. And it's like, that's great. Anytime Elliot tweets something out first, like, that fucking guy, can't stand him. And they're all like, oh, he's the best.
Yeah.
All right. JD, appreciate you popping on. We really do. The chat's buzzing. They love hearing from you as well. I guess.
You're not asking me about Mark Spector?
Okay. Oh, I wasn't sure if you wanted me to. So here's what I was going to throw your way, because you're now calling yourself the Department of Microphone Discipline or Safety or something like that.
Yes.
Who has more of a right to be mad at their local media today, Connor McDavid or Austin Matthews?
Well, Celebrini too had one. I caught somebody too yesterday, and I gave them a 2-practice suspension. You can go to practice, but you can't ask any questions. You can just observe, because they asked him about that goddamn plushie toy after they asked him, like, how big of a loss was that for you? And they're like, where's the teddy bear? And I was like, suspended. And it's like, again, I fully respect the journalists. I respect the media. And I explained this. I had a conversation with Mark and told him, listen, I was like, when I played, I could have a great game. Look at my 700th game. Played a great game, had a turnover for a goal against. Anybody just think you're just going to pick the goal against and say, hey, not good enough. Fans were tweeting at me like, he's done, send him back to mine, which is fine. That's great, because it doesn't matter as a player. If you play 20 minutes, but you commit an egregious offense, that's what we're going to latch on to. So as a reporter, you could have a ton of good questions, a ton of good games, but every now and again you can slip. We're all human. We're all doing this for the first time. There's nothing against anybody. It's not personal, but that is where the Department of Microphone Safety comes out. And we are on the hunt. We're lurking. If you're a media person, I will be lurking and I will be watching. And if somebody sends me a video and I don't like it, I'm going to have to make a gut check call and give you a 1 to 2 game suspension. But it was just something funny that I posted, and I didn't expect it to catch fire. So I didn't know so many people had it out for Spector, which I feel bad for the guy now.
Yeah. It doesn't take a lot. Oilers fans, yeah.
I was kind of like, shit. I was like in the chat, like, no name calling everybody. Like, hey, like, this is just a joke. And it just kind of took on legs. But listen, I mean, the question itself, like, was the interview good overall? Sure. Could you say that Connor didn't mind the question? He didn't. He had a good poker face. But I mean, to say that, like, why can't you win? Or not, like, because the question was asked, Wayne Gretzky, all these people have won. Did you realize it would be that hard to win? And it's like, okay, but the way the question is asked, it's easily interpretable that it's like, why haven't you won? And it's like, okay, it's first time offense. That's it. First time offense, 1 to 2 game suspy, but you can go to practice, ask questions, but 1 to 2 game suspy, but respect what they do. They're boots on the ground. They provide the information. but every now and again, we all mess up. We're human.
I love it. JD, again, appreciate you popping on. Love that Department of Media.
Yeah.
You might have a few calls from
Get
Edmonton.
it fucking right, Tyler. Department of Microphone Safety.
Department of Microphone Safety. Okay, I'll write it down
I
so I
think
don't
that's
forget.
good. You screwed me up. The Department of Player Microphone Safety. That's
Department
what
of
it is.
Player-
Might have to shorten that.
Yeah, maybe an acronym or something.
It's the DPMS.
DPM.
Just
DPMS.
rolls off the tongue.
Hey, you easy now with your Bears sweater, hey? Coming in here. Bears.
Okay.
Point local.
All right. We'll catch up soon, JD. Thank you.
See you, boys.
See
Yeah,
ya.
there goes Jason Demers, DPFMS or something like that. I don't
Something
know.
like that.
Something like that.
Something easy.
Player microphone safety. Yeah. DPMS. Also, if he wants a good read on, he can go look at our chat and get anyways, I think, to be fair to Mark Spector, who we've had on the show in the past, and who, when we see him in person, we have great interactions with him. I felt like that all kind of got blown out of proportion.
Well, it was just the one clip that went out was...
And then you hear McDavid's response, and it's like, again, I think what people maybe don't understand here is like, Connor McDavid and Mark Spector have spoken to each other every workday for the last decade.
Yes.
If there is someone at your work, and that's a bad example because obviously Spec isn't McDavid's boss, but like someone you deal with, or even we'll call it a client you deal with at your work every day for 10 years. Eventually, you're going to kind of learn their tones, and you're not going to get offended at something they say. I don't think Connor McDavid looked at that question, and again, he chuckled after his initial response. I think whoever was the initial blogger guy,
I didn't see who it was.
I don't know his name, but there was one initial blogger guy who put it out there and just cut it right after McDavid's first 3 words. Mm-hmm. And it's like, okay, like, again, you're intentionally trying to throw Spec to the wolves here. Like, that's not totally fair to him either. Yesterday, I had someone tweet me, they're like, oh, you're just sticking up for your bosses. Mark Spector is not my boss. Jason Gregor is not my boss. My only boss is the guy who's dead last in our game day betting challenge, Jay Down. I answer to one person, and it is Jay.
Congrats, Jay.
And if Jay asked Connor McDavid that question, I'd probably actually be like, Jay, that probably wasn't a very smart thing of you to ask.
The question was answered too by McDavid.
And it was answered.
After. It's tough. It's probably a better way to word it, I would agree. But at the end of the day, he asked the question. McDavid answered the question. I think we can all move on with our lives.
They are words in like an interview. Get over it.
They're fine. They're fine. Okay.
There will be another thing he asked that we're not going to like. This is going to happen again. It's happened before. Whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Don't you answer to BM too? I do answer to BM as well, actually, yes.
We don't need to go through our
org chart. Do you want to put it on the screen and we can just follow all? We can see who everyone reports to in the business. They're clearly no. I'm kidding. Okay, got a couple of things we need to get to. Then our friend Dennis Burnstein is going to join us, and we're going to preview tonight's game against the LA Kings. But it is our mock trade, and it's brought to you by Brunch for Ben. NationGear.ca if you want to get in. The event is this Saturday. Bring your kids. I've been told that there will be plenty of Nation citizens in their volunteer t-shirts, and there'll be mini golf and, a bunch of games, Giant Connect 4. There will be areas for your kids to just run around and play while you watch the game. So head to NationGear.ca. Bring the whole family. Everything is in support of the Ben Stelter Foundation. If you look at the ticket prices, I know you sit there and go like, whoa, $70. That includes your breakfast buffet. That includes your raffle ticket. That includes your swag bag you get when you walk in, which includes gift cards in it, so you'll get some value back. That includes the mini golf contest we're going to be having from PGX. Like, it includes a whole bunch of stuff. The idea is, last year it was, I think, $25 gets you in the door, but then you had to buy your own breakfast and raffle tickets and things like that. This year, we just made it one upfront cost. The idea being, once you buy your ticket, you show up, don't need to touch your wallet again. So anyways, 4th annual Brunch for Ben this Saturday, brought to you by McLeod Lots at nationgear.ca. You can also bid. Whoa, someone threw another bid in for lunch with Oilers Nation every day. Hello.
What are the initials?
Oh, man. You're going to get lunch with Liam and I at Dog Patch and Aaron, and you're also going to get a chance to come in, watch the show if you so please. If you want to come be a live studio audience, you can. I want to see who this is. Ooh, Ryan. RD got outbid by a KK.
Chris Knobloch? Chris Knobloch?
That'd be very funny. And Chris Knobloch, does it. You can't tell anyone it's him, and he just sits right there and does the whole show. And we'd have to do the whole show with Chris Knobloch staring at us.
Why are you the way that you are? I was imagining he was sat right there.
Anyways, brunch for Ben at nationgear.ca. Come join us. I think we're actually almost sold out. The ticket sales picked up the last 48 hours. So if you're waiting, let's go. My mock trade for today. I had a little thought pop into my head today while I was talking about the Toronto Maple Leafs, Liam.
What happened with Matthews, by the way? I didn't see.
Damian Cox wrote an article that basically said Austin Matthews valued partying and the president over the playoffs.
All right. I think Brady Tkachuk's getting it pretty good today in Ottawa, too.
He is.
I think Brady Tkachuk just, and maybe I'm interpreting this wrong, but it made it out like he just hates Canada. And I know he never came out and openly said that, but Austin Matthews, he didn't really know he was on the team, for better or for worse, I guess. But either way, he was quiet, where Brady and obviously his brother just very vocal. And it's you guys play in the Canadian market, and you played in one, and then you claim you love those teams. It just feels very wrong. But either way.
And Brady's kind of getting roasted for the whole close the northern border thing, all of that.
Did he say that?
It was off camera. People think it was his voice, but no one knows.
That would be insane.
That would be grounds to trade him in the summer, especially because he was in Ottawa. Wow, it looks like my prediction of one Ontario captain will be traded might be coming true. Okay, our mock trade, Liam. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Of the 3 Toronto Maple Leafs goaltenders who've played more than 15 games this year, there's 3 of them.
So Hildeby, Wall, and Stolarz.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dennis Hildeby has the best save percentage.
Okay.
He's in the minors right now.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't need waivers.
Okay.
Next fall, Dennis Hildeby needs waivers, and he's 24 years old.
Okay.
He's also signed to a 3-year extent. He has 2 more years left on his contract at $841,000 a year. Joseph Woll also signed for 2 more seasons after this one at 3.66. Anthony Stolarz is signed for 4 more seasons at 3.75. So all these goalies are under contract for at least the next 2 years. Hildeby needs waivers next fall.
Didn't Hildeby play? Oh, no, Stolarz. Never mind. Sorry.
So what if you did, and this is I texted this trade to Nick Alberga and said, who says no? I'm curious what you say. What if you could convince Toronto to trade you Joseph Woll?
Okay.
He's their number 1. I know that. But if they're truly punting on this season, they might sit there and go, you know what? We can't trade Stolarz because he has trade protection. Woll doesn't have any trade protection. Hildeby's $800,000. You could run Hildeby and Stolarz next season, and it's $4.67 million. You would have to make it real sweet for them to even consider trading Joseph Woll. I understand that. But they have a goalie in Joseph Woll, and they're about to have a 3-headed monster next fall. That one of them is going to have to go on waivers.
Okay.
They have a D-man in Oliver Ekman-Larsson that I think we all kind of sit there and go ooh, we like that. We like him.
Yeah.
They have a forward in Bobby McMahon that we all like.
Yep.
What if that's your super mega one-stop shop? And
Okay.
you trade Ike Howard and your 2027, 2028 first-round picks. Obviously, there'd be a couple pieces that have to go out for the money to work.
Okay.
One of them is Andrew Mangiapane. You would have to obviously send down a guy. You'd have to get 50% retention on Bobby McMahon.
This is today? You want to do this today?
I want to do it today. Okay. I want Joseph Woll, Oliver Ekman-Larsson, and Bobby McMahon for Ike Howard and my next 2 first-round picks, and I'll even throw in a second-round pick because they're going to give me Andrew Mangiapane, or they're going to take Mangiapane's money. Howard first, second Mangiapane, 5 pieces out. Woll, probably your number 1 goalie. OEL, top 4 D-man. Bobby McMahon, top 6 winger. Do you do that if you're the Edmonton Oilers?
I mean, yeah, I would do it.
It's totally fantasy land. I know that, but that's the whole segment. It's mock trades.
I just think at the end of the day, the Oilers have had, 4 goalies this year? And
Correct.
every single one of them currently has a save percentage in the 900 when they were on the Oilers.
Correct.
I'm not a save percentage guy by any means, but I believe in trends. So that seems like a pretty common trend to me, is that the goaltending is coming here and failing. So I think you got bigger problems than trying to find another goalie to come here and potentially fail. Not to be like a pessimist. I prefer to be an optimist most of the time.
But would you do that trade?
Oh, yeah, of course. You got 3 really good players.
Yep. Alberga said the Leafs say no.
Yeah, I would also say
really?
no. Yeah, of course.
You're giving them 3 2 firsts and Howard?
Totally. I get it. I don't know.
Yeah, he said they say no. And I don't. But again, I think the Leafs are a team to watch goaltending wise.
What you walk through makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, like they're gonna have to move one of those three by the start of next season because someone will claim Hildeby.
Nah.
He's got like a 9.
I know.
He's 24.
I know. Every goalie that goes through waivers is going to be claimed. They never do. Clay Stevenson, Rick DiPietro. No, Rick.
Hildeby is more of a track record at the NHL level.
Maybe. I just think all these guys, goalies are stupid.
Someone said Tyler's mock trades never make sense. Okay, that's fair. My one yesterday I thought was good, but I'll move on. It is a game day here on the program. Back-to-back game days for the Edmonton Oilers. Tonight, it's the LA Kings on tap as the Oilers play a doubleheader. To help us break that down is Dennis Burnstein, and his appearance is brought to you by Capital GMC Buick. Every game day here on the show is brought to you by Capital GMC Buick. They're the highest volume GMC dealer and #1 certified pre-owned dealer in all of Alberta. And if you're wondering, are they good enough for me? Well, how about this? They're good enough for 5 players on the team. 5 guys on the team currently drive vehicles from Capital GMC Buick, and you can join them. Check out the dealership, 9751 34th Ave Northwest, or online at capitalgmcbuick.ca. Dennis Burnstein from the fourth period covers the LA Kings, joins us. Dennis, the Kings also played last night, so appreciate you squeezing us in on back-to-back game days.
Sure.
Last night was the debut of Artemi Panarin. What were your initial impressions of the bread man?
I'm struggling, which was a bigger embarrassment, your team or the Kings. I'm not really sure last night. It's close. Yeah. Panarin's a great player. He made the team better. You saw the one goal. It's probably the prettiest goal of the season. But when you don't have structure on a team that has stressed structure all season, that's what happens last night. 5 guys out, 5 regulars, 5 great players out for Vegas, and you lose in that manner. You give up, and I know there was one empty net goal. You give up 5 goals in the third period to that team? Sorry. If there's lack of structure tonight, it's not on the players. It's on the coach. It's as simple as that. And guys, when you look at the alignment down the middle, it's Laferriere, Kopitar, Turcotte, Hellenius. You're kidding yourself if you're going to make the playoffs with those 4 guys in the middle. Right? You have Alex Laferriere as the middle guy between Panarin and Kempe. Like it's really a referendum on Quentin Byfield. They moved him out of the middle when they traded for Panarin. You would think that would be the guy to get Byfield going, and they said, no, we're going to go in a different direction. We're going to put Alex Laferriere, who's played about 30 games at center for his career, not this season, in the middle. It's a mess right now. They've lost 3 straight. And like I said, that when a team lacks structure on that's what their hallmark is, that's troubling right now.
So with that said, I know the trade was obviously in favor of the Kings with what they had to give up for Panarin, but do you think it was an unnecessary trade with the direction this team probably needs to go in?
No, because they can't rebuild in Los Angeles. It's Los Angeles. The team 2 miles up the road of the Dodgers, they sign every star player. You can't do it. The building has to be full. This organization will not. Kenny's 70 years old. You think he's interested in a rebuild? You can't do it. And plus, to be honest with you, look, I know people saying, hey, look, they're behind the Sharks and Ducks now. How long did it take those 2 teams to build to that point? 7, 8, 9 years? And they're still not there. Like, I'm not sure. Like, San Jose still have a playoff spot, even though they have Celebrini and they have Neeson, they have Will Smith. So no, I don't think it was an unnecessary trade because here's what. The narrative was nobody wants to play in Los Angeles. The front office is a mess. You know what? Guess what? That went one way because that player, who's a star, wanted to play here, only wanted to play here. They had to do it. Now they have to surround them with better players. They have to trade for Robert Thomas or maybe take a bigger with Elias Pettersson. Because when Kopitar retires this season, who do you got in the middle next season? You have no one. They don't have an option here. They can't be like Anaheim and San Jose and say, okay, 5 years down the road, we're going to do something. Plus, Robitaille, who's the president of the team, they haven't won a playoff round since they won a cup with him and running the show. So there's got to be a lot of hard questions asked here, but it wasn't the wrong trade. Like you have 2.5 years to build to a contender. There are some cornerstones. I still think that if you put Byfield with Panarin, that would work. You're not going to trade Clark, but they're clearly not a Stanley Cup contender right now. But that's Kenny's job over the next season and 2.5 seasons.
Yeah, we had a comment in here, like obviously 3-game losing streak for the Kings, 4-game losing streak now for the Edmonton Oilers. And it was an Oilers fan commenting who said, if we lose tonight, is it panic mode? Is panic already set in LA, or is there still like a pretty good belief that, hey, you know what, if this team hits their stride, they can win 7 of 10 and get themselves into a wild card spot?
No, the panic will be at the trade deadline because they have 5 more home games. Now, they play Edmonton tonight. They play Colorado on Monday. They play Calgary. Like, if they lose to Calgary, then yeah, there's a panic because you lost to a team without 5 guys, and like they could lose tonight. Like, they never play well against them, and the matchups in the center really, it's going to be difficult. I don't think you panic then, but if you go 1-5 on this homestand, yeah, I think it's panic time, and I'm not even sure Kenny can buy at that point in time because how many points you're going to be out of a playoff spot. So I don't think there's any panic right now because if you do look at Tankathon, they have the 31st easiest schedule. But they had an easy game last night, Ty, and they blew it in the third period. I mean, they blew it. Like, you saw guys who 3 guys went back to Henderson this morning. Come on, you got to win that game with Panarin there. It was set up to win. It was like the easiest bet in the world, like Kings, money line, no problem. Panarin's there to not have a fight. No, it didn't happen. So I don't think any panic there, but it's getting to that point where, yeah, they're going to have to make a trade for a center, guys. They have to. I can't see this alignment getting to the postseason, and it's still a goal for this team.
So you said something earlier that kind of made my ears perk up when you talked about, you know, it might not be on the players if it goes poorly again tonight. And I think for a lot of teams, it maybe got late a lot earlier than they expected, just because I feel like there were organizations who kind of went like, let's get to the Olympic break and see where we're at. And now you blink, you're through the Olympic break, you have less than 25 games left, and it's like, well, wait, is it too late to do something like fire the coach? Well, in LA, if you keep stumbling here in this losing streak, it's 4 or 5 games. Is it too late to fire the coach?
Yeah, it's too late to fire the coach because you can't. What structure is going to change now? Like, what are they going to do? Move DJ Smith? DJ Smith's the defensive coach, and they're floundering offensively. Like, it's too. I've said that. Look, here's the thing. Some people with the hot takes. Who wants the hot takes? Fire the coach and CC sucks. That's not analytics. That's not analytical. Like, that's not what's going to happen. You don't think I talk to people in the organization and say, like, what's the deal? Here's when they would have fired the coach. Had they lost 8 in a row and the bottom fell out of the team, fine. Now, what's prevented the coach from being fired is this division stinks. It really does. It's bad. So it propped up all these teams and saying, okay, maybe I make a move. Like, if the Kings were in the East, would Hiller still be the coach? Probably not, because they'd probably be out of a playoff spot. But with Kenny's a patient guy. He is, especially when it comes to the coach. He made him a commitment to Hiller. He's going to stick with it. It's too late, Todd, to change anything structurally. So, and why coach that a legit coach is going to jump on board now? They're going to wait till the offseason. If they don't make the playoffs, they'll change the coach. Even if they do make the playoffs and don't make a big run, they may change Hiller anyway. I just think it's too late. I think one of the reasons is that they're still in the divisional race and they're still in a playoff race because the division's been so bad.
Mm-hmm. I wanted to ask you about a former Oiler in Warren Fogle. There was like a slight rumor before the break that maybe Edmonton would be interested if he would end up being available. It was pretty much squashed. But why has he dropped off so much this season? Last season, for people who don't know, he had 24 goals, 46 points. He has 6 goals and 8 points in 44 games this year.
And he had 22 even strength goals. That's one of the reasons they're in the spot they're in. He's been banged up really. I got to know, you guys know, he's a great guy. I feel for this player because he's a really good cat. I got to know him. He's been banged up all season. Like, he's had 2 difficult injuries. Not that they've been long-term injuries, but his shoulder's been banged up. I think part of it's injuries, and he can't find traction. Plus, their 3C is Alex Turcotte, and he's not an offensive player. Alex Turcotte has 13 goals in 150 games in the NHL. And he was, a 5th overall pick? I mean, he just doesn't have the right players around him at this point. I think some of it's injuries and some of it's underperformance. The good thing about Warren, he's a stand-up guy. He owns it. He goes, I need to be better. And he hasn't been better. A lot of it's been injuries. A lot of it has been that middle 6 that they haven't been able to find continuity in the middle 6. So the player owns some of it. The structure of the team owns some of it. And the fact that he doesn't have a competent center who's offensively gifted, I think that's it. So it's a combination of things, to be honest with you.
A lot of Canadian hockey fans watched Drew Doughty very closely at the Olympics and kind of went like, woo, this isn't the Drew Doughty that we remember. Have Kings fans seen a step back from Drew Doughty this season?
Yeah, he's not the same guy. He gets beat. If you watch the game, the last time they played against San Jose, he got routinely beat with speed. Like, he can't defend against speed anymore. He doesn't have the foot speed anymore. Is he still a decent defender in front of the net? Yeah, he is. He's still physical. He's still a leader. Look, his impact right now is more emotionally than physical at this point in time, right? He's still going to play top minutes, but he's not the same guy he was 3-4 years ago. It's clear. Like the injury 2 seasons ago really hurt him, right? And he was banged up this season as well. So no, but on a better team, he's probably a 4 and not a 1. And that's what he is right now because they don't have the depth up front. I mean, well, you can consider Brant Clark's probably the 1. He's the best defenseman they have. But yeah, he's regressed. But you got to think that with all the mileage all that tread off his tires, what can you expect from Drew Doughty? Drew Doughty should not be the top of the line defender. But that's one of the struggles for this team.
I'm going to walk you through a scenario here to wrap this up, so bear with me. You're Dennis Burnstein. You're walking through the press box at Crypto.com Arena, and Ken Holland's like 3 steps in front of you. And as Ken Holland turns, a piece of paper falls out of his pocket. So you go and you pick up that piece of paper, Dennis, and you open it up, you unfold it, and it's a list, and it says trade deadline targets. And then there's a name at the top. Who's the name at the top of that list?
It's the easiest question I'll get all day, Ty. Robert Thomas. This is the guy. That's the fit. Now, it's going to be painful. It's going to be like, here, I'll give you mock trades. Nobody loves your mock trades. Maybe they won't like this one. It would be 2026. I listen to the show. I'm a fan. 2026 first, 2028 first, Alex Laferriere, and another asset. That's what it would take to get Robert Thomas. Woo. The second guy, if there was a second name on that list, it's Elias Pettersson, but there's so much risk involved. There's so much regression. And I know Vancouver sucks, and a lot of it passes due, but there's too much regression in that player with respect to performance. Robert Thomas with Panarin, then they're a contending team. You need other pieces, but then you have a Thomas, Panarin, and Kempe. That's the guy, without question. He's 27 years old. It's only $8 million cap hit. He's the facilitator that this team needs. They would work magic. That's the one guy that will fit. I'm not sure St. Louis wants to move him right now. He does have a no trade clause, so I think 14 or 15 teams. But when you have Artemi Panarin here and Kempe on the other side, I think if they said to Thomas, this is the line you're going to play on, he would probably say yes. But this is the guy that they need to, and it will be painful, and they need to overpay it, but that's the move they need to make.
Dennis, we appreciate you popping on. Our chat absolutely loves you as well, so that's why you keep on coming back, and we thank you for that. Enjoy the hockey game tonight, and we'll chat soon.
Always great being on Oilersnation, boys. Thanks for the time. Appreciate it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Dennis Burnstein from the Fourth Period. You can find him on Twitter as well. And as I said that, of course, my thing went away. Where's his Twitter? There it is. Dennis TFP is his handle. If you want to go find him, does some great work. Panyota, all those guys at the Fourth Period do awesome stuff. We love having them around.
May I make a statement? Yes. Okay. Sorry, I was waiting for your
name's on the show.
Full approval.
Oh,
thanks,
full
Aaron.
screen.
For the people being like, the LA Kings don't have the assets to trade for Robert Thomas, you're completely wrong.
Oh, they have so many assets.
Like, Logan Stankoven, very good player. I like Logan Stankoven. Him and Alex, what's his name? Is it
Laferriere?
Laferriere. Probably similar in regards to ability, I would say. Laferriere is also playing top-line center currently for the Kings, whether we like it or not.
Yeah.
He was traded for Mikko Rantanen last season. Robert Thomas is not Mikko Rantanen. I think Robert Thomas is a great player. Mm-hmm. They have the assets to get that work. Let's not kid ourselves here. The Kings have their next 3 first-round picks, and they have 4 first-round picks. They actually have every single pick this year. If they want Robert Thomas, they can go get him.
Yeah,
they also have
whatever.
$13 million in cap space.
It's literally just a matter of what do the Blues set as the price, and do the Kings want to pay it? Because they could pay it, whatever the Blues kind of do.
Laferriere also $4.1 million until the end of 2028, where he becomes an RFA, which is quite handy to have.
All right, let's keep cruising along with the show. Let's get to the Bet365 Game Day Betting Challenge. Download the app today. Use the promo code NATION, whatever the moment. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Here's what we got going on today. Well, I'm coming off a win. You're coming off a win. It's just Jay who's coming off a loss.
Thank God.
Every day you move one step further from having to do the spray tan. That's big for you. That's all right.
I think I'm going to have, when we get to the end of this, I know what Jay's going to do. Mm-hmm. I think to avoid it, I'm just going to have to do the same.
Whoa, that would be, well, yeah, that makes sense, right?
Because then if he hits, I hit. If he misses, I miss. Whatever, it doesn't matter.
And not that you'll know what he's necessarily doing, but if you're taking 50-1 shots and he's taking 50-1 shots,
Yeah.
there you go.
Sorry, I would like to continue addressing my union.
Okay. State of the Union, Liam.
What's that guy's name? Sorry, I'm terrible with names. He said Rantanen was different. Thomas is locked down long term. The only reason Dallas got Rantanen is because they signed him to literally an 8-year deal. Before I guess it wouldn't have mattered, but that's what happened. They locked him down as well. So there you go.
Dallas wasn't doing that deal if Rantanen wasn't signed. Just like Edmonton wasn't doing their deal for Rantanen unless he was signed.
No.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, all good.
Game day betting challenge. Do we have fresh standings? Whatever.
No,
That's
I'll
fine.
tell you what they are right now.
Well, I mean, I won. That's all I kind of care about.
Yeah,
But
you're up to 4.9.
Nice.
I'm minus 5.7. Jay, minus 13.55.
all right. Picks for tonight. Here's what I got locked and loaded. It is a nice, simple 3-legger. Edmonton over 2.5 goals. I think the offense will be able to keep humming today. Darcy Kemper was obviously out at the Winter Games, did not play though, so I don't think there's much of like he's coming back from Team Canada kind of thing. I think Edmonton will get their offense going. Wallman, 2 shots on goal. He had a post yesterday, tried to attempt a few others. I think he'll get a couple through. Draisaitl, 3 shots on goal. Loves playing the Kings, and I think he's as fed up as anybody. Plus 260. Jay's bet. Liam's bet. Go, Liam.
Roslovic point. Plus 150.
Easy.
If you want to attach his shot prop is 2, minus 130, whatever that would work.
Yeah,
out
I
to
don't
be.
mind that either. I had him at 3 shots yesterday. He just missed on it. But
He hits 2 basically every game.
yeah. And especially when he's up there with Draisaitl. He had a bunch of chances, actually. I'll check how many attempts
That
he
line
had.
was great.
I thought that line was really, really good. We'll do keys to victory maybe in a second, too, to end on some positivity. Jay's bet tonight, heel turn. Under 6 and Kings money line for Jay. What do you think of that?
I think Jay would be pissed if I made that deal.
He would. We got him scrambling, though. He's scrambling.
It's a bad bet.
Yeah. I think the Oilers are going to win tonight. The
Bad
Kings are in
bet.
shambles. All right. Before we get to keys to victory, podcast question. Do we have some, Aaron, you want to pull up the comments from Spotify whenever you have a second? Yesterday's question. Hilarious that it was yesterday's question, by the way.
Oh, yeah. God damn it.
Would you undo the Jarry deal if you could? Should we do it? Yesterday, I think it was 66% said yes. Should we put it in the chat again?
Would you make the... I think I know. What
We
this
got
is gonna say.
14 comments.
Holy guacamole. Well, good thing we're starting this with 12 minutes left in the show. Can you zoom in one?
Yeah.
I have a little bit of a tough time. Oh, God, that's really sad. Are my eyes starting to go?
No, I can't see shit either.
Okay.
It's just we have a small screen.
Yeah.
Small fun.
First one up, Jalal. I never liked the deal to begin with. I was hoping to be surprised, but this is not aging well. 100% take it back. 26-year-old with back-to-back cup final experience who's stolen multiple playoff games for you over the years and a lower cap hit than Jarry. You keep that guy. Baffles me how much we had to give up for a lateral trade. I would imagine after last night's game, Bowman would take that genie wish too. Yeah, Jalal, I think I understand why you watch the show because you and I clearly think the same. So thank you for that. Dan is in. I would absolutely take it back. With Skinner's contract up at the end of the year, you'd be free to do anything in the summer. That's what I would. The second that deal was made, I said, you cannot get UC Saros now. UC Saros might be on the block this summer, and you're going to have to watch him go somewhere else. What if Hellebuck or Saros asks for a trade? Hellebuck probably not. Oilers would be in a prime spot to acquire anyone, including Jarry, if they believed in him, or re-signing Skinner if he had a big playoff run, and you would have had the trade assets of Kulak in the second if you wanted a better backup for 74. Yep. Also, Tammy dropped in a super chat and said, why can't you say Olympic Games, Tyler?
I answered your question, Tammy, but thanks for the donation. IOC has very strict rules.
Yeah. If you thought the Oilers come at us quickly, the IOC is even quicker.
Yeah. Wild, to be honest.
Bad company is in. I would take it back. I never liked it at all. To give up a very durable defender and a second-round pick to make a lateral move, maybe even backwards, never made sense to me. He then commented after the game and said, definitely backwards. I love that. OJ is in. Management tried to move on from Pickard and the leadership group stopped them. Management decided it was time for a change and got Jarry. He gets hurt. We find out Ingram is good. 3 goalie controversy. Got rid of Pickard. Now both suck. We can complain about the goalies, but this is on A, management, and B, the leadership group for not trusting management in the first place. Oilers just can't get competent leadership and good decision making. Is it the goalies or is it deeper?
That is true. And it's everyone. They all made bad decisions in this moment. But if they just sent down Pickett back in October or November, whenever that was, November, I guess, where would we be right now?
Yeah. William is in. I would take it back as a Pens fan that watched Jarry for a while. He's always had a higher ceiling than Skinner, but it came with a lot of inconsistency. Never knew what you were getting and a lot of mental mistakes. Also, check out his season splits. He loves to start a season red hot. Then as the calendar flips, it's a different story. It would happen every single year.
Hell yeah.
Chandler, our good friend. I definitely also, we're now into a couple of these are like from this morning and stuff. I'd definitely take back the Jarry trade purely for the asset management alone. I think you guys were 100% right about waiting to make a trade. We probably wouldn't see much of a difference between a Skinner-Ingram tandem versus a Jarry-Ingram tandem, and we'd have playoff Kulak and that pick available to use at the deadline. You can probably find a better upgraded net at the deadline or at the draft like Binnington, and I would have believed I'd consider him a couple of weeks ago. Every hour that we move further away from the Olympics, I get more into the I don't want Jordan Binnington camp.
Oh, I'd be still fine without Binnington.
Yeah.
But I also know why we love him as Canadian fans.
Yep.
It's fine.
Uncle Jim, Dom has us at 77% to make the playoffs. That's lower than his number for both Anaheim and Buffalo. Yeah, it's not great right now, guys. Riley, I would take it back. It was a move made in desperation because of fan pressure. A team like Florida or Tampa does not make a move like that, and it shows. I agree. Riley added, I would have kept Skinner for the season, then looked for offseason options. That was clearly the best move. THS, I'm writing this after the game, which I didn't watch because I had to work, but regardless of tonight's outcome, I felt from the very start the Oilers overpaid for Jarry. I would undo the trade. Ben, I would take it back any day. Jarry's been shaky ever since the trade, and last night was one of the worst games yet. It's time to ride Ingram as our starter, and Ingram is playing tonight, I believe. JS Gill, easy yes. And Moody said, is it time to hit the panic button on Tristan Jarry? Also, why are you guys commenting at like 5 in the morning? When are you listening to this show?
Could be like European listeners.
Oh, maybe. I'm curious about that. Today's question. What should we make today's question?
Well, things are going to happen pretty quick.
What are you
here,
planning
right?
on doing
So
in June?
how about this? Instead
Can
of
I ask a really morbid one, or do we want to go positive?
Well, I was just going to say, how about instead of asking a question that we have right now, why don't you just leave us your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, there you go.
You know, the game's obviously going to happen. A lot of people commenting after the game anyway. Like, maybe that's what you guys can do for
Tyler,
us
I
today.
like morbid and positive.
But, I mean,
Choose your own
we can do
adventure.
both.
No,
why not?
I'll save morbid for Friday, because then we'll have the whole
God.
weekend to forget about it.
That means something bad's going to happen tomorrow.
Let us know your thoughts on the game, and then also let us know your listening habit. When do you listen? Where do you listen? I'm curious to know.
Yeah.
Are you always in the car? Is it while you're cooking dinner? Before you fall asleep? When you wake up? Let me know. I want to know more about you. Should I whisper? Do you want me to whisper you my morbid question?
No, just tell us.
Who's an Oiler for longer, Tristan Jarry or Darnell Nurse?
Nurse. Contract's longer.
You know when Tristan Jarry's contract expires, they'll still be paying Jack Campbell's buyout?
Wise Kyle will be happy. Actually, he'll be pissed. Jarry will be gone.
Classic.
I think today was good. I only had to mute Doug because Doug kept saying we have to trade McDavid to a contender. That was stupid.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of conversation in the chat. I wanted to let you guys run wild a bit today. I think everyone has the right to be pissed and hold their opinions. I don't think it ever got over the top in there, which was good. Nope. D was fighting the good fight for Darnell Nurse, which I thought was funny, and everyone was against him. But that's fine. D's an error of day, gives his opinion. Kyle a bit silly. Maybe Nurse is gone this summer. The more you ask me that question, I think back to last year, maybe even the one before. Like, his name is almost coming up like too often for it to be like a bit of a smoke screen.
Who is that?
Darnell Nurse.
Oh, yeah.
So, I wonder. Jesus, wise cow. Facts. I love a Jarry a combo tandem.
What is
God, you must love not watching hockey in late April and
What do you
May.
think old Jack goes up to right now?
Coaching his kids.
Probably. They might not even trust him to do that.
Not a goalie coach, tell you that much. Actually, he'd be a good goalie coach. Here's what not to do. Just follow me.
Damn. All right, keys to victory for tonight. Bulldog is in. Says, I'm sad Henrique is back. He's everything we don't need. Old, slow, small, no grit whatsoever. I actually thought it's not a coincidence that the penalty kill was better last night when he was back. Oilers on the penalty kill last night. 17 shot attempts, 9 of them turned into shots. That's pretty good. Like, he kept them to the outside. I think that means 6 high danger looks. Jarry was a good penalty killer last night, too. What's your key to victory for tonight? For me, it's going to be
It's the goalie.
It's simple as that.
Yeah, it's the only answer. For me, sorry, I shouldn't speak for you, but I just think that, sure, your defense is, I think the goalies just need to show give us a bit of a reason to believe again. Both of them. Like someone else was coming in the chat, it's like, you guys are believing in Ingram, but he has an 8-19 in his last 5 games. Totally fair. He's not been good either, but we talked about Jarry a lot today because he played bad. So, yeah, I just want to see the goalies, Ingram tonight, I'm assuming, give us something to believe in.
Try Jarry on forward. Put Nurse in net. Make Pickard your 3C.
Hey, we're out of options here.
My key to victory, goaltending. Obviously, yes, goaltending. My sneaky one is just going to be keep the. I want the forwards to have another good game because I actually think up and down that forward lineup yesterday. I liked Mangiapane last night. I didn't mind Trent Frederick last night.
I thought Freddie played decent on that line.
Pods
was good.
and Freddie were great.
There was a big thing, and I can't remember who it was, so I won't call him out. But someone was posting, was like, I don't know why they keep going to Frederick and Henrique. But I always think that third line's left wing was Janmark. It was like, well, maybe let's try someone new. And now they have Podkolzin in his box a bit of life because Pods just brings it.
Savoie, awesome game.
3 points, career high game, I believe.
3 points, unreal. Curtis Lazar, I thought he was mildly noticeable. I thought every forward, for the most part, played a pretty good damn hockey game last night.
I think every forward period played well.
Yeah.
I don't think and I think that's what people are trying to say at the start. Is that there was some positives, 100%. Unfortunately, the negatives strongly outweighed them. But if the forward group can show up again, you can get any kind of game from your goalie for 60 minutes, then you should walk away with 2 points here. You need to win this hockey game, no matter what.
My key, I think, is just make life easy on your goaltender in front of your own crease because goaltending that's definitely the peak there. But if we know they both don't have their A game right now or have been struggling lately, dear God, do everything you can to clear out that front of the net. And ideally, this will go positively, or we'll get that morbid question.
Pre-game, post-game, coming up tonight, 7:30. Who you got, Aaron?
Me, Menzies, Brett.
Let's go.
Tristan's in the house. It's going to be a good one. Going to be a late one. Get your coffees. Get your Red Bulls. I think we finished last night at 12:45 a.m.
It was a great show. It looks awesome.
It looks
shout
so
out producer
sharp.
Brett doing a great bang-up job
Brett.
behind the scenes. Get your voicemails in, folks, because I want people to let it rip.
Yeah. The lineup note, too.
Yeah.
We don't have any. But we don't know if Janmark is playing. Obviously, he only played 2 minutes last night.
Yeah, so no update on Janmark. Here's the deal for the Oilers. And again, Aaron will have a lot of this covered on pregame tonight. You cannot call someone up on an emergency basis and have no cap penalty until you've played 1 game short.
Yeah.
So if the Oilers were to play 11-6 tonight, on Saturday, they could call up Szymanski on an emergency basis and be cap compliant. If they were to bring Regula, who is technically on the roster, if they were to bring him up and play 11-7, it would not be playing short. So they would not open up that possibility for the emergency recall on Saturday. So basically, here's the decision, I think. Do you think one of Janmark or Kapanen will play on Saturday? Hell, maybe Kapanen can play tonight, honestly.
They did say, I think he could be back by Saturday.
So, maybe you can just have him play tonight and this isn't a problem. But basically, if you think you're going to get one of Janmark or Kapanen back on Saturday, then I think you bring Regula back from Bakersfield and you run 11-7.
Yeah.
If you think there is a chance where Kapanen and Janmark can't play on Saturday, then I think you leave Regula, who, by the way, has played back-to-back games for the Bakersfield Condors. They played Tuesday and they played last night.
He's done well, actually, too.
But are you really going to bring him out to play a third straight hockey game?
Man, the last time he did that was probably Bantam.
I don't think you can do that.
No,
if you're just going to bring up Regula, again, if you want him for the insurance purpose, sure. If you're bringing him up to play him 90 seconds in this hockey game, just don't even bother and open up the emergency spot for Saturday.
Completely agree.
Yeah. All right, that is a wrap on today's edition of the show, game day edition of the program for Capital GMC Buick. Love having them on board. That's great. That was a really good show, guys. The chat, you guys absolutely brought it. I thought that was awesome. Tomorrow, we should have both Jeff Merrick and our friend Ryder on. That's a fun show. That's a fun show.
Damn.
New episode of Real Life dropping later on this afternoon as well. But again, thank you to everybody in the YouTube. Enjoy the hockey game tonight. We'll see you right back here tomorrow, noon Mountain. Oil up. What's up, Nation citizens? If you enjoyed today's episode of Oilers Nation Every Day, make sure you hit the subscribe button here on our YouTube to not miss any of our content. We got you covered from interviews, insight, analysis, everything you need to stay up to date on everything around the team. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a video.